The Stockades are an unsavory place. Packed to the brim with dangerous criminals now running amok after a prison riot, it has quickly turned from being one of the most well-guarded places in Stormwind to one of the most chaotic. The Warden and his men have taken up positions outside as a final means of defense, but all the while, the denizens prowl down below, plotting their next move. From menacing Blackrock orcs to ringleaders of the Defias gang, the Stockades are now a time bomb waiting to erupt onto the streets of Stormwind. But within this realm of anarchy, there is one convict who stands out among them, Dextren Ward. Compared to most of the other enemies in this dungeon, Ward has a complicated history of crime and accomplices that isn't fully explained in-game, but today we're going to unmask those secrets and find out where this crook's allegiances truly lie. As always, thank you for your fun comments and support, and with all that being said, let's get right into it. Our story begins today not in Stormwind, but in the secluded hamlet of Darkshire. Players can befriend the local councilmen, whose complaints to the kingdom fall on deaf ears as darkness closes in on Duskwood. One problem in particular relates to Dextren Ward, as explained by the council member Millstipe. Now the House of Nobles spits in the eye of the Darkshire Council with their decision to imprison Dextren Ward in Stormwind, rather than behead the villain as per Lord Ebonlock's sentence. Ward was caught selling bodies from the cemetery to Morbant Fell, a crime punishable by death. As if simple grave robbery wasn't bad enough, it seems Ward's involvement with Morbant Fell hints at an even darker scheme. Morbant Fell is the resident necromancer of Duskwood, a powerful wizard who experiments with the undead. It seems Fell contracted some humans from the area, including Ward, to carry out the grunt work of excavating some remains, perhaps ones that needed special attention to collect properly. In selling these samples to Fell, these grave robbers are contributing to the massive undead presence in this zone, making the Ravenhill Cemetery and several other areas of the zone uninhabitable for the living. The Darkshire Council asks for Ward's severed hand as proof of the sentence being carried out, a political move designed to convey Darkshire's stance against the House of Nobles. For most players moving through content on their way to max level, this is a fairly standard objective, and turning in the quest doesn't reveal anything else about our criminal. But there are a few more details hidden in the game that become very important to this case. For one, we know that while Dextren Ward was apprehended by the Night Watch for his crimes, there are other grave robbers who continue on his work in the now unguarded cemetery. It appears as though they are free to carry out their work without being disturbed, and perhaps they, along with Ward, are shielded from the undead by some sort of enchantment. This indicates the robbers have an even stronger relationship with Fell than one would first expect. This connection could potentially be taken a step further by examining the abilities of the two key characters. Morbant Fell's presence of death causes players to cower in fear for a few seconds during battle, and Dextren Ward just so happens to be the one enemy in the entire Stockades who has a similar fear ability. Perhaps Ward is an initiate of Morbant Fell's, a common crook learning how to adopt dark magic for his own gain. There is another secret side to this story worth exploring that is somehow even more fascinating. Ward stands out within the Stockades as one of the few enemies not associated with the Defias gang, as he doesn't sport one of the iconic red bandanas. However, what if I told you he actually was an agent of the Brotherhood all this time? Let's head back to the other grave robbers in Duskwood. While they don't appear to be working with the Defias either, they have around a 4% chance of dropping a red Defias mask when defeated. According to WoWhead, out of all the mobs capable of dropping this item, the grave robbers are the only ones not explicitly noted as being a part of the gang. It is possible the robbers dug them up on some bodies, but I think this is very unlikely compared to them just being members themselves. The final piece of this puzzle involves a very similar scenario in the Stockades. Dextren Ward is one of the only enemies not connected to the Defias who drops a red wool bandana, all but confirming he is somehow tied to the Brotherhood. My leading theory here is that Ward and his grave robber friends are emissaries of sorts between Morbant Fell and the Defias leadership, perhaps more specifically the mad Claven Mortwake, who also has been experimenting with the dead and is located not too far away from the Ravenhill Cemetery. Taking a step back and examining this story as a whole, the House of Nobles' decision to bring Ward to the Stockades makes so much sense now. It is later revealed during Classic WoW that the nobility has been manipulated by Lady Katrana Prester, really the Black Dragon Onyxia, into destabilizing Stormwind, and saving a high-ranking Defias asset from execution would fall in line with this plan. As a side note, a very similar incident took place with the orc Targor the Dread, who escaped punishment in Red Ridge and was extradited to the Stockades, likely because the Blackrock orcs are also being controlled by the Black Dragons. A convoluted web of politics and prisoners to be sure, but one that fits together all the more nicely with the reveal that Dextren Ward is actually a member of the Defias Brotherhood, partnering with Morbent Fell. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.